Hello dear friends, today we are going to discuss and get to know about the civil service in India. What kind of service is it? What does it exactly do? And why is it significant in our political system? We will discuss these important aspects so that you can take a well-informed decision about choosing civil service as your career option, and also subsequently you can develop a deeper understanding of the working of this service to equip yourself as a good civil servant. Just to get hold of the evolution of modern form of government service in India, let us first look back at our modern colonial history. The government or public service in its modern form emerged during the rule of East India Company in India. Out of this evolved the Indian Civil Service, that is the ICS, as the premier service occupying all senior positions in the government. Moreover, it emerged as the first civil service in modern world where recruitment was on the basis of open competition and not on patronage. It played a major role in the administration of both civil and criminal justice. Under the rule of British Crown, the ICS came to be known as the Imperial Service. And finally, with India becoming independent, the ICS transformed into Indian Administrative Service, that is the IAS. Thus, the civil service in India is officially known as Indian Administrative Service. With this brief historical background in mind, now we can turn to the post-independent civil service in India. The civil service is an important part of Indian government, including the union and the state governments. Civil service, being a government or public service, primarily works for people along with our representatives and the ministers. This service assists the government in various ways, and one of the significant functions is to implement various government decisions ranging from laws, policies, and judgments of the court. Okay, now we know why this is called a government or public service. But why is it called a civil service? As we all know that India is a democratic form of government and it has three branches of government, namely legislature, executive, and judiciary. These branches are given the authority respectively to make laws, frame public policies, and adjudicate matters, that is to settle disagreements and disputes. The executive branch of our government contains two parts. One, the political executive or council of ministers, or also called as ministry or government in power, which is elected by the people through elections. The second part is known as public administration or public bureaucracy, which is a non-political part of executive. The officials of the public administration are not elected but selected through open competitive examinations and tests. The Indian public administration, in fact, is a huge body of various public or government officials. Prominent among them are 1. The defense services, 2. the judicial services, and 3. the civil services. Thus, civil services constitutes an important part of the huge body of public administration in India. The civil service is known as civil service fundamentally due to the functions and role given to it. And the main role assigned to the civil services happens to be to take care of the civic responsibilities. It means the civil service is given the task of looking after the civic affairs of our society and not the defense or judicial matters. But what do civic affairs or responsibility include? The civic affairs basically include revenue administration, maintenance of law and order, development administration, and a few quasi-judicial decision-making functions. Therefore, there are around 20 to 20 civil services that are part of our civil service, responsible for the various civic responsibilities. IAS, IPS, IFS, IRS IT, IRS Customs and Excise, Indian Audit and Account Service, etc. are some of the civil services which constitute our civil service. For example, the IAS looks after the development administration, the IPS is responsible for law and order, the IFS serves our public interest, that is national interest in international relations, the IRS is tasked with collection of revenue from the income tax. Thus, all civil services are given a specific responsibility in the civic administration of our nation. However, it needs to be kept in mind that the primary responsibility of the civil service is to implement the government decisions about the civic affairs. The civil service is government on ground and hence known as the face of government. It should be noted that the performance of the government to significant extent depends upon how the civil service performs. It should also be noted that as civil servants become senior and go up in the hierarchy of civil service, they acquire an important responsibility to advise the ministers in both making laws and framing policies. Our constitution makers, knowing fully well the critical importance of the civil service, provided for constitutional bodies, that is UPSC at the level of union and state public service commissions, to recruit qualified candidates as civil servants in a fair way. Moreover, our constitution has given wide-ranging authority to the civil service along with the constitutional protection so that they can fulfill their responsibility and function without any pressure. The civil service thus holds a tremendous potential to impact our society positively and be a means of constructive societal change. In other words, it provides ample opportunity to contribute substantially to the nation building and to public service. Hence, the civil service has remained one of the significant career options for many students and serve our people effectively.